Hello students, this is lesson 4 on the chapter transportation, class 10 biology. In the previous lesson we discussed about the structure of the heart and blood circulation. Here is a clarification of that portion and several very important points here. You heard about the valves. The valves are present in the veins, they are present in the lymph vessels, they are present in different parts of the heart. Their main function is to prevent backflow of blood. Like in between the right auricle and right ventricle, tricuspid valve is present, which is having 3 flaps. In between left auricle and left ventricle, bicuspid valve is present, which is also known as mitral valve, having 2 flaps. Semilunar valves are present in between pulmonary artery and right ventricle, which is known as semilunar pulmonary valve. Semilunar valve is also present in between aorta and left ventricle. This is called semilunar aortic valve. So all these valves helps in preventing the backflow of blood. Now we are going to discuss about a very important feature of blood circulatory system, that is heartbeat and pulse. How heartbeat is generated? Heartbeat is generated actually in the right auricle of the heart. Here remember that articular or auricular or ventricular systole means contraction of the heart, and auricular or ventricular diastole means expansion of the heart. Heartbeat starts due to the presence of several cardiac muscles present in the heart, like sinoatrial node known as SAN. It is also known as pacemaker. They actually starts the heartbeat. It is forming an electrical impulse which starts the heartbeat. That's why it is called a pacemaker. Atrioventricular node, AVN, or bundle of his, these all things starts the heartbeat. Our heartbeat or heartbeat rate and the pulse is same, that is 72 to 80 times per minute. How it is starting? How it is started? Low pitched sound which is formed due to it is of long duration due to closure of the tricuspid or bicuspid valve. A sound is produced that is called lub, L-U-B-B. Then a high pitched but short duration sound is produced due to closure of the semilunar valve, which is known as do. So one lub and one do forms one heartbeat. In this way our heart beats 72 times per minute. This heartbeat produces a throb. This throb generated several arteries in our body, of which the main is called the radial artery, which is present in the wrist. By pressing that artery we can find out this throb, which is called the pulse. So that is the difference between heartbeat and pulse. Heartbeat is generated in the heart, which is heard in the form of a throb, that is called the pulse. Here is a schematic diagram of the cardiac cycle. Like in the blood circulatory process, you learned that during auricular diastole, deoxygenated blood comes in the right atrium and oxygenated blood in the left atrium. Both these things occur at the same time. After that, what happens? Atrial systole occurs. During that, deoxygenated blood comes to the right ventricle and oxygenated blood comes to the left ventricle. Then what happens? Ventricular systole occurs. Thus, deoxygenated blood goes to pulmonary artery and oxygenated blood goes to aorta. In this way, the cycle continues, and this is called the cardiac cycle. One cardiac cycle occurs in 0.8 second per minute. So in this way 72 times this cardiac cycle occurs in our heart. Now we are going to discuss about blood pressure. What is blood pressure? Blood pressure means the force exerted by blood on the wall of the arteries. It causes when there is a ventricular systole, mainly because ventricles are bigger in size, and during that time a systole, that is contraction time, the pressure is more, 120 millimeter of mercury, and during dilation, that is expansion, a diastolic pressure occurs, that is 80 millimeter of Hg. This is the normal, that is 120 by 80 millimeter of Hg. Sphygmomanometer is a machine or a device by which blood pressure can be measured. In your NCERT textbook, there is a portion here which is mentioning about the sphygmomanometer. In this sphygmomanometer, there is the inflatable cuff, there is a compressible bulb you can see, and a mercury filled manometer is there. By the compressible bulb, air is taken out, and thus the inflatable cuff closes the brachial artery, and thus stethoscope is also required here, you can see here. And after that, what happens? Due to systolic pressure, the higher one is measured, and then the lower one it is released, and thus the lower diastolic pressure is measured. In this way, blood pressure is measured by sphygmomanometer. Here you can see that if there is blood pressure is high, we call it hypertension. Generally 150 by 90 millimeter of Hg, it is called high blood pressure or hypertension. And if it is 110 by 70 millimeter of Hg, then we call it hypotension or low blood pressure. So that is the end of lesson 4.